Moments when everything seems normal are often misleading. A simple routine, an automatic gesture, or a quick decision can turn into a problem without warning. In those moments, the body reacts before the mind, and the scare comes without asking permission. From a car being pushed straight into the water after a wrong brake to a giant ship knocking down cranes, these episodes show how mistakes appear when least expected. It only takes one detail out of place to turn routine into chaos, and these are the moments you are about to see. 5 men decided to speed up a cart pulled by a buffalo on an open road. They were sitting together, laughing, clapping, and pushing the animal to run faster and faster. The animal obeyed for a few meters, but something went out of control. At high speed, the buffalo suddenly turned to the other side of the road. The cart wheel went over the road divider and everything turned into complete chaos. The structure could not handle it. The cart tipped over to the side, and the 5 men were thrown onto the ground, scattered across the asphalt. Each one fell differently, trying to get up in shock, barely understanding what had just happened. Meanwhile, the buffalo broke free and ran away. The video spread on social media and quickly became a topic of discussion. Many people spoke out angrily about cruelty and defended punishment. Others said the animal only reacted to what was happening. Within the debate, there was irony, criticism, and even nervous laughter at the unexpected fall. Trevor Jacob was flying a small vintage airplane when he decided to turn the flight into content. Over the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, he realized that the trip could generate clicks. Inside the aircraft from 1940, several cameras were already mounted, including one pointed at the propeller. That detail drew attention later because it seemed too good to be spontaneous. During the flight, Trevor said the engine had stopped, but instead of trying to fix the problem or look for a safe place to land, he opened the plane door, put on a parachute, and jumped. The plane continued alone until it crashed into a wooded area, while the pilot descended calmly, filming everything with a selfie stick. The footage ended up on YouTube with the title, "I Crashed My Plane," and easily passed 2 million views. The Federal Aviation Administration analyzed the case and found several strange details. He did not contact the control tower, did not try to restart the engine, and seemed far too prepared for the jump as if he already expected it. His pilot license was revoked. After that, Trevor went to the post office to deliver the document and recorded another video, saying he was tired of the criticism. The flight brought fame, but also major consequences. Jorge Martinez was battling for position with Marian Calvo in a corner of the Costa Rica National Motorcycle Championship. The bikes got too close and ended up touching. At that moment, Martinez lost balance and ended up clinging to the back of his rival's bike, being dragged for a few meters like an unwanted ride, in a surreal scene. Calvo decided to stop in the middle of the track to deal with the situation, but things escalated. Martinez got off the bike already angry and went after the other rider. Those watching could not understand how a professional race suddenly reached that point. Officials acted quickly. Calvo was ordered to head straight to the pits. Martinez abandoned the race after seeing his bike damaged on the side of the track. The dispute ended there, in a completely unsportsmanlike way. The International Motorcycling Federation reviewed the footage and handed down a 2-year suspension to both riders. The race was over, and the trophy stayed far away from either of them. A motorcyclist was riding calmly along a road near the corner of Thalayola Paramba Vetikatu when everything changed in seconds. The bike had a problem after a sudden break. The wheel slipped, the handlebar jerked to the side, and the fall came without warning. The passenger was thrown onto the ground, right in the middle of the road. As he struggled to get up in shock, a bus appeared coming from the opposite direction. The fallen bike was hit and slid underneath the heavy vehicle. The passenger, by sheer luck, was not hit. To complete the scare, a car coming right behind managed to stop in time. The driver slammed the brakes and avoided further chaos. In the middle of it all, there was only dust, noise, and a badly damaged motorcycle. Afterward, the man walked away, limping slightly, probably thinking that day had already used up all the luck available. Delisle, a man of 65 years, thought it would be just another ordinary day in Point Calumet. While he was not at home, a group of workers went to the property to trim a large tree, the kind that requires care and planning. The idea was to cut the base and pull the trunk away from the house using a cable and a loader. But something went wrong during the process. The tree started to fall, but toward the wrong side. In just a few seconds, the trunk crashed directly onto the house rented by Delisle, who had lived there for many years. Part of the roof and structure could not withstand the impact.
Oh, shit.
The entire scene was witnessed by neighbor Stephen Henry, who was watching the activity in the next yard. He realized the plan did not go as intended and noticed right away that the cut was far from being as controlled as it seemed. The homeowner was shocked when he received the call. He returned and found the house badly damaged. What was supposed to be a simple trimming job turned into a major problem and an unwanted loss. A man decided to transport furniture and long wooden boards in the back of a truck in a very unconventional way. To keep the load from moving, he climbed onto the back and held onto the objects, hugging everything tightly like a human seatbelt. The scene looked strange from the start, clearly improvised. During the drive, he stayed there, hanging on, using his own body to secure the load. Drivers behind him realized that this could turn into a serious problem at any moment. All it took was one sudden movement from the truck for the setup to fail. The boards and furniture came loose all at once. Everything went flying down the road, scattering wood everywhere.
This is gonna take off this van exactly.
The curious detail is that the man did not fall with them. He stayed on the truck, while only the cargo took flight and followed its own path. To anyone watching, it was clear the ending had been written from the start. It was only a matter of time. Kevin Bolt. Maciel went out cycling with friends at Morro do Moreno in Vila Velha, Brazil, thinking it would be just another normal downhill ride. His friends went down calmly, chatting near the base of the military police station. Kevin came right after. Too fast, something was wrong with the brakes, and he discovered that in the worst possible way, halfway down. The bike picked up speed and went out of control. Kevin barely missed a police officer and a man standing on the sidewalk without time even to react. He lost direction and crashed into a patch of vegetation ahead. Rescue services were called and Kevin was taken to the hospital in Vitória, Brazil. He stayed hospitalized for about 20 days and had to undergo 2 surgeries with a difficult recovery. After the accident, Kevin spoke to reporters and said he never forgot the feeling of not being able to stop. The bicycle survived the descent. The scare, however, stayed as a lasting memory. A homeless man was sleeping stretched out on the sidewalk when something enormous appeared, walking slowly. It was a jaguar. The animal came very close, lowered its head, and moved toward the man's face. It sniffed calmly, as if checking a forgotten bag on the ground. The man did not move at all. He kept snoring, unaware of the danger just inches away. The jaguar took a short walk around him, observed the body on the ground, and moved on. No attack, no scratches, just silent footsteps fading into the darkness. Those who heard the story were amazed by the man's luck. In an urban setting, encounters like this usually end badly, but this time they did not. The man woke up hours later, alive, unharmed, and unaware of his nighttime visitor. An ordinary night turned into a chilling story. A ship arrived at the port of Evya Port in Kocaeli, Turkey, for what seemed like a routine docking. It was a giant, 368 meters long, loaded with containers, under pilot supervision and assisted by tugboats. But the maneuver went wrong. Little by little, the vessel got too close to the pier, where 4 cranes were lined up like dominoes waiting to fall. The ship struck with force and hit 3 cranes at once. One fell backward, collapsed onto another, and pulled a third along with it. The metallic noise echoed across the port. Workers ran away, each looking for a safe place. Some containers came loose and fell into the sea, increasing the panic. Police and firefighters arrived and an investigation began immediately. Despite the damage, no one was injured, which by itself seemed like a miracle. Two men were riding calmly along a dirt road full of holes, the kind that makes anyone hold tight. They approached a simple curve, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But the ground was treacherous, with irregularities that swallow a wheel without warning. The front wheel suddenly slipped. In seconds, the problem appeared. The bike lost control, tipped over, and both men fell together in the middle of the road. No one was seriously hurt, but the scare remained. The scene became the target of comments and jokes, along with the classic advice, going slow is always better because the road does not forgive mistakes, not even for a second. The day was calm at a house with a large swimming pool. Trees provided shade, and everything seemed in order, as if nothing could go wrong. Suddenly, a car appeared where it did not belong. It came too fast, left the road, crossed a green area, and passed straight through a low structure that separated the space. The vehicle did not stop. It went straight into the pool and fell in completely. Water splashed immediately, sending waves in all directions. The car began to sink slowly, as if exhausted after the shock, while everyone tried to understand what they were seeing. It is believed the driver lost control of the steering. There were no serious injuries, only damage and shock. The pool became the stage for one of those moments where nothing goes as planned and turns into an unbelievable story. A Scania truck was slowly trying to climb the ferry ramp. The engine roared, dust rose, and the weight made itself known. It was just short of reaching the top when the power gave out. The heavy truck rolled backward without warning, as if gravity had taken the wheel. People nearby panicked and ran. The truck went down crooked, hit the side of the ferry, and nearly caused more damage. The structure barely held. Tension filled the air. Some people approached the edge to understand what had happened. In the end, no one was hurt, but the scare was huge, and the image stayed in everyone's mind. The day was going normally at a construction site. A crane was lifting a massive slab. The piece rose slowly while several workers watched closely, some too close. All it took was one mistake, a miscalculation, or a lapse in attention, and everything turned into panic. Suddenly, the structure failed. The slab crashed straight to the ground, and the equipment followed, raising a cloud of dust that covered everything. Workers were startled and ran instinctively, each in a different direction. The noise was loud. The ground shook. Some people ran even farther just to be sure they were safe, but luckily no one was injured, despite the frightening crash. Mrs. Zhang went out to drive alone shortly after getting her license. She was tense from the first meter, hands stiff on the wheel, eyes fixed on the road. In a curve, she was going too fast. When she realized it, she slammed the brakes. The reaction was wrong. The car lost control and spun in the middle of the curve. The rear hit a vehicle that was parked near a lake. That car had nothing to do with the situation, but it ended up being pushed straight into the water. The scare was intense. Zhang panicked when she saw the car sinking and, instead of stopping, did the opposite. She accelerated. She rushed forward and crashed into a staircase just ahead. The chaos was complete. In that moment, the driver was in total panic. Instead of asking for help or talking to anyone, she decided to leave the scene, abandoning the mess behind. The episode drew attention for its domino effect. One mistake led to another. The car in the lake remained as silent proof that nervousness and driving do not mix, especially in the beginning. Landslides happen when soil becomes saturated, loses strength, and can no longer support its own weight. Loose earth begins to slide, rocks come down together, and the hillside becomes a real threat to those living nearby. All it takes is accumulated rain, steep slopes, and poor drainage for everything to spiral out of control. That is exactly what happened in the Paiuva neighborhood, on the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil. In the morning, part of the hillside collapsed and hit the South Perimeter Highway. The road was completely blocked, isolating residents of the southern region of the archipelago.
Vai cair, Pedro. Vai cair essa casa. Agora vai cair! Tá caindo! Tá caindo! Para! Meu Deus!
A house built on the slope was destroyed. The property had already been condemned by civil defense, which prevented something worse. Trees came down with the earth, and power poles fell, forcing the utility company Electro to cut electricity to ensure safety, with teams on alert. Firefighters and civil defense teams worked at the site. Another nearby house was inspected and also condemned. A huge scare, but no injuries despite the heavy scene. A car drove down the street like any other. Behind it, tied with a rope, came a small, low cart with a man sitting on top. The scene already looked like a warning of trouble, as if inviting disaster. The car sped up a bit. The cart began to wobble. The small wheels shook non-stop. The man tried to hold on, but his body could not keep up. The rope stretched too much, took the wrong strain, and snapped at the worst moment. The cart flipped, broke apart, and scattered pieces across the asphalt. The man fell with it, rolling in the middle of the street.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
The chaos drew attention from passers-by. From the improvised setup, it was clear there was no way this would end well. It was only a matter of time before something failed. When it did, it became obvious the idea was never safe, not for a single second. When the ground is wet, one wrong step is enough for everything to go wrong. Slippery surfaces become silent traps, and any carelessness turns into trouble. That is exactly what happened in an ordinary backyard, the kind where no one expects danger. A young man decided to ride a motorcycle through his own yard. The problem was that the ground was wet. He went ahead anyway, as if nothing would happen. It only took a few meters for the wheel to slip. The bike lost control, slid sideways, and he fell. The fall was immediate. His body went forward and he landed on the grass ahead. The scare came instantly. Nothing serious was reported, but the fall made one thing clear. With wet ground, the risk is high and mistakes always come at a cost. Do not forget to subscribe to watch more videos like this.